Hello everybody and welcome to Flosstube number 38. It is Sunday the 21st of July. My name is Sally and I am Flossie Sews and Grows here on YouTube and on Instagram. This is a channel predominantly about cross stitch, but I do sometimes show other crafts and my growing in my allotment when I manage to get things to grow. Firstly, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everybody that came and watched my last Flosstube where I showed my progress on #FunFor50Sal 2024, which I'm doing with my lovely friend at Sew Me Sarah, where we're doing 50 new starts for 2024 to celebrate us both turning 50. My last Flosstube I showed my progress on the 32 starts that I'd had already, whether they were still a whip, whether they were just with only one actually being quite a poor start of just a few stitches, whether I'd finished them, and actually there were even a couple that I had fully finished. So if you want to see my progress and you haven't yet, just pop back and have a watch of that. And so many of you, so many new people came and found me and left such lovely comments on how much they'd enjoyed watching my progress and seeing all my projects, as well as my usual followers. Lots of you did that as well. So lovely, lovely to see you all. So thank you for joining me today if you're a new subscriber, or if you're one of my regular visitors. It's great to have you here and I really hope you enjoy what I have to say. If you haven't yet subscribed, but you do enjoy what you hear and what you see, if at the end of the video you could consider subscribing, that would be fantastic. You then will get a little notification of when I've done a new Flosstube, so you don't have to go and find it. So it's been 2 weeks since I checked in on you with my regular Flosstube, so I'll just show you the starts I've had in the last 2 weeks. I've had a finish and also the progress on the whips that I've been doing. So I have a finish. I do have a finish and I'm really, really pleased with this finish. This is Gathering Strawberries by Annie B's Folk Art, and absolutely, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. This is stitched on a Tom Lily Creations fabric and it's 32 count even weave and it's called Wisteria. It was from the spring pack last year, so 2023, which I was lucky enough to win in an Instagram competition, and I thought it just suited this fabric, this pattern absolutely perfectly. Now there should have been an extra flower here, but actually I changed it. Originally there were 3 chickens on there and I decided to change, and I've changed the colour actually of all 3, I think, so that they are the same as my chickens. So this is Snow, which is the one surviving chicken we have now, Ginny, Beyonce and Little Red. So this is stitched really for, I think I started this on Felicity's birthday, on my daughter's birthday, and I think this is really nice little fitting tribute to remember the chickens that we have got and we have had, and when she's older she will remember them through this, I hope. So I'm really pleased with that. I stitched it with the called for threads. There were some, it was a mixture of DMC and fancy floss, so the strawberries are all fancy floss and the green is fancy floss, and I think the dress is teal frost, and then the chickens were, I've pulled the colours from them for stash, but again they're in fancy. I think you can see Beyonce there is, I think that's a Stitchy Ferret thread actually, and Ginny is in Weeks Dye Works Onyx because it's got a slight green tinge to it, and she was black, she was copper black, so she had black feathers that had a green tinge on them, and then she had some spots of red in her as well. That was copper. It's beautiful, beautiful colours. So I'm really, really pleased with this, and it's going to go on the pile of doom, unfortunately, for a short while. I think I really want to get that one finished soon, but I think time at the moment is a little bit short. School holidays started on Friday, so now Felicity is off for 6 weeks. I still am working for quite a lot of that. I've got a week off at the end, but it will be busy. So I think I will get cross-stitching done still, in the evenings when we settle down to watch a little bit of TV at the end of the day. But finishing perhaps might be a little bit harder. So, did I have some starts? I did. I had 2 new starts. First new start was from In Friendship's Way, and it was one of the strawberries. And it's Emily's strawberry, which I thought I had it. I've got the template there with the page in the wrong page. Here we go. This one is Emily's strawberry. I just need to do this so I can cover the chart because I don't want to bend the book. This one here is Emily's strawberry, and that is stitched. The model is stitched there in Gentle Arts Uniform Blue, so variegated floss to make it look a little bit different. I decided I'd had some beautiful silks from gifted to me as part of an exchange by my friend Catherine, who is Trin Kitty on Instagram, and it was an exchange. Got too many things in my hands and not enough places to put them. An exchange, a stitch across the pond, Smalls exchange, and Catherine sent me these beautiful 2 silks, pink and purple, my 2 favourite colours, and I decided to use them for this. So there we go with the purple with the flowers, and I've stitched 1974 there, and then I just need to put some initials in here. Now this is stitched on a 36 count fabric, which was a fabric of the month by Fabrics by Crafty Kate. And I thought it was just a beautiful kind of neutral but delicate fabric that would be great for this strawberry. So I started it to mark the birthday of Caroline Evertotes. She, like me, is a 1974 baby. So she has just turned 50, and I'm really hoping get to meet Caroline next week at the Big Stitch. That's going to be really exciting. I met Kerry last year at Stitch in London, but Caroline didn't go last year, so I'm hoping I get to meet her. And this also came under the hashtag of Stitch Strawberries for Wimbledon, which was facilitated by Michelle at Mama Loves You GB. She was stitching as many strawberries as she could while Wimbledon was taking place. So just need to get the initials done on that, and that'll be a quite quick finish. So pleased with that one. And then I used the same fabric for start number 2. So I'll just pop there. So this is Jane Marshall, 1857. And I bought this as a PDF, so I'll have popped the PDF picture up there for you to see. And this is my first Hands Across the Sea sampler, and this is actually one that was released in 2020 as a fundraiser by Hands Across the Sea, supporting the rural fire services in Australia. And actually they managed to, by selling this, they managed to raise, that's the word, raise, oh dear, brain fog today. They managed to raise nearly, it was over £28,000 British pounds to send over to Australia for those rural fire services. I think at the time they were suffering from quite bad fires in Australia. And I'd seen this, actually, again, Mama Loves You GB, I'd seen this on a very early Flosstube of hers, and also I'd seen Eleanor for the Love of Stitches show this as well. I think she just framed it, and I just loved it. I love the colours on it. They're vibrant but delicate. So this is the other bit of the fabric that I've just shown you for the strawberry. So it's a fabric of the month by Crafty Kate, and enough that I could do the 2 projects. So I'm so pleased with this start. Absolutely love it. What I've done, so as you can see here, I've only done a half stitch here, and I've tried to, you can see I've got hanging threads here. what I plan to do is I plan to take this one to Stitch in London with me next week. And you know, I know here up and down here I've just got a straight line to stitch up and down, so I won't really need to look at the pattern too much. And then here I can just go and do the other half of the stitch. And then I think, I can't remember if there's perhaps another colour in here as well, so I can go and stitch in the other colour without having to look at the chart, because I think at a retreat when you're talking, there's lots going on, it's so easy to get distracted and miscount. So I think to have something that I can just go and fill in without having to even look at the chart is just going to be such a bonus. So absolutely, this one is just enjoying it so much so far. And as you can see, it's only tiny, it's not a big one at all. So just wonderful to have started my first Hands Across the Sea. And it's wonderful. I love the bands of flowers, the 2 bands that we've got. That's what really attracted me to it, and the colours, I think. So so far so good. The next, so those were my 2 starts, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whips to show you. And actually I've thrown a couple in that I think when I did my filmed last week to show you my progress on 50 new starts so far, definitely when I was pulling a few things out, I was like, oh, I really want to get going on this one again. I really want to stitch on this one. So you know, there are a couple of oldies in there that I haven't, well, certainly 2 that I haven't stitched on or want to get finished. So the next one, again, hanging threads, I'm afraid, is Dreaming of Summer Sal by Love Poppet. So this is a beautiful, beautiful summer stitch, and I was kindly gifted the kit for this by Claire at Love Poppet, and it was a 5-part stitch along. I've got part number 4. I've just got to finish up the butterfly here, and you can see I've already started on part number 5, which is here. So it's all in the called for threads, because obviously they came in the kit, and I'm stitching it on the called for fabric, which was a 32 count even weave. But usual style of Sally, I'm stitching it with 1 strand over 2 rather than 2 over 2. So it gives it that slightly more delicate look that I really like. And of course, because I'm not a big fan of stitching with 2 strands anymore. I've just got so used to stitching 1. That's just my happy place. That's what I prefer. So really pleased with this. I know Charlie has filled in the windows of the house, and I plan to do that. And I might even find a kind of more of a ready colour just to do that heart. I don't know. Just makes a little adaptation or 2 just to make it mine. But really, really pleased with my progress on that one. So not a huge amount more actually to finish that one. Not a huge amount more at all. So that would be a relatively easy win to get to finish there. Again, the colours were absolutely beautiful for that. And as you can see, there's still quite a lot left, but obviously I've only used half of the colours there, so I could almost stitch it again. And I would, it's been that nice. So my next whip, this is one, I think I did show you this last time actually, and I will be popping pictures up if I think I have checked that most of these projects I have got a picture of the last time I showed it to you, so you can see my progress. I had, I think, spoken to you about this one on my last regular Flosstube, if not the one before that I really did want to get this one finished, and it is For Thee by Lila Studio. And it's a freebie actually. If you go to Lila Studio's website, you can find it there. And I'd been stitching this one along with Sarah. I think Alex had been stitching it with us as well, and Judith, who's the ex-stitching librarian. So quite a few. Everyone else has finished it, but I still haven't finished it. But I have made quite a lot of progress. I think since you last saw it, I've stitched this bird and the thing around him. Did I stitch the berry in this? So it is getting there. I might have stitched the laugh as well actually at the top. There's not a huge amount more. I love it and it's beautiful. Well, I just think it's a bit fiddly. There's just little bits and little changes, and of course because it's on a 36 count white or antique white, and because I'm using some quite dark threads, obviously I can't carry my threads at all. So you know, there's a lot of instances of having to not cheat by carrying threads to start or to carry on with a colour. So I'm having to be very good about it, and that just takes a little bit longer, doesn't it? So just need to persevere, and just get a thread in every now and again, because it's not far off. It's not far off, and you know, every finish that I can do at the moment, you know, I see as a little win, really, just to keep those whips down. I think I'm up to 20 whips at the moment, and I've got 2 new starts coming up in the next week or so. So yeah, starting to get a little bit heavier on the whips, so it would be good to try and get some finishes into. So one that I did pull out when I showed you my progress on my 50, and I thought, oh, I want to do some more on that, was coffee and eggs. And actually I did have a chat with my friend Lisa, and I'm not going to pronounce her Instagram handle. I'm going to put it underneath because I can't pronounce it very well. And Lisa's quite far ahead of me on this one. We started this one together as a stitch along, and yeah, she's doing better than me. But then I have got all these starts that I'm doing, so you know, it's understandable. And we are going to see each other at the Big Stitch next week, so we'll take it along for her to show. But actually there is, I think, a plan on doing this egg and her hair at the Big Stitch next week, because those are going to be quite easy fill-ins as well. And I'm being realistic. I think there'll be a lot of chatting at the Big Stitch. So it's still in the hoop because I was stitching on this last night. So since you last saw it, I did the skirt bit last night, and actually I've done her hand here and her skin, and actually I unpicked. I'd already done her hand here, but I felt that the thread that I'd used on that was too light, and it blended in with the white of the egg just a little bit too much. So I unpicked that and picked a different colour, and so she's got a new hand, and she's now got her neck and her other hand ready for that egg there, and ready, her face ready for some hair. But this was fun last night, starting to stitch the skirt. I was enjoying that, so I might carry on stitching this tonight. But yeah, so that is Coffee and Eggs by the Artsy Housewife, and I'm stitching it on 35 count. Oh, it's Weeks Dye Works. I'm just trying to see where's my little book with all my notes in it. It's not easily to hand. There it is. Can I remember? Coffee and oh, good. Thank goodness, straight to the page, and I'm not here faffing around trying to find the right page. So it's actually Weeks Dye Works parchment, and I know that this is old Weeks. It's a bit softer and a bit loosey goosey. But it's okay. It's okay. It's not too bad to stitch on. I'm enjoying this one. Frankly, I don't really stitch anything that I don't enjoy, and I am stitching this with a mix of Roxy Floss Co. This isn't Floss Boss Hannah's conversion. This is Sally's own version, but there are, I think, Inappropriate and Colonel Mustard are 2 colours that are in Hannah's conversion, but the rest of mine were from stash of Roxy Floss that I already had, and then there's just a couple of DMCs in there as well, and a little, I can't remember who gave me that, with a little S on it. Was it Lindsay when I did in it a little exchange? Can't remember. With a little, it's got a little, yeah, little cute ring bling there. So That one is very enjoyable. As I said, all of my stitching is enjoyable. If I'm not enjoying it, I'll stop. But I don't really tend to pick things that I don't enjoy, which is good. Next up is Winds of Autumn booklet, and it is, I'm doing this strawberry here, which is First Winds of Autumn. So this was the first strawberry that I started stitching for the Stitch Strawberries for Wimbledon with Michelle at Mama Loves You GB. I'd planned to stitch this one in October. That had been in my plans for my 50 new starts for 2024. And when Michelle announced the stitching a strawberry stitch along, I thought, well, I'm going to pull it forward and I'll bring it to July. I've definitely got a picture of this where you saw it the last time, and I'm stitching this on a 36 count fabric of the month from Fabrics by Crafty Kate. And since you saw it, I've definitely done the head of the bird, a little bit creased where it's been in its hoop, but yeah, so this is a fabulous colour by Kate. It's green with an almost kind of beigey, it almost looks pink. I'm just trying to see if I can get the right colour of it in the light. Maybe about there. Is that it? But it's great, a real kind of grungy kind of autumn Halloweeny colour. So really enjoying that. And I'm stitching this with the called for predominantly, well, it's a mix actually of, so a couple of weeks dye works in there, and also the some DMC as well. So I've just used the week's dye works from Stash where I've had them. If I haven't had anything else, it's been DMC. Really enjoying this. Don't know if you can notice, I haven't done his eyes. A little bit disappointed with the chart for this, that the molasses, it's Weeks Dye Works molasses, are, the symbol is a dark circle, and then the colour that the eyes are supposed to be, which actually I think, is it this one here or is there another one, because there's another kind of Quakerish little star here, is a black heart, and it's really quite difficult to distinguish them. So it's quite a hard chart to read. So actually I completely missed that he needed eyes. So what I am actually planning to do is just to stitch over. So, and his eyes will just then pop out maybe a little bit. I'm not going to unpick that and to restitch the eyes. I will just stitch the eyes over the existing threads. So other than struggling to read the chart a little bit, that one is going quite well. There is a thread that I'm missing that I am going to order or try and get at Big Stitch next weekend. There's a Weeks Dye Works one that I thought looked better than the DMC, or I think will look better than the DMC. And I haven't actually got the DMC for that one either, I don't think. So yes, I thought I would get the Weeks Dye Works, because I think actually it is a called for in a couple of patterns that I've got coming up, so I thought it'd be useful to have it. Final whip for this time round is Barbara Anna Light. Here's a little picture of what it should look like when I finished it. And gosh, lots and lots of you stitching this. This is one that Sarah and I decided to stitch together. We are trying to stitch one stitch a month out of our 50. So we're not stitching all 50 the same patterns, but once a month we're trying to do the same one and see how many of you can join in. Lots of you joined in with Light. It is a free pattern from Barbara Anna, so it's quite easy for you to get hold of. I will have shown you my I did take a picture of this the last time I showed it to you, and this is where I've got to so far. So I've definitely stitched more of the blue dress. I've stitched some of the fox's face here. I've started on some of the stars there. This is on a Fabric of the Month by Fabrics by Crafty K, a beautiful purple but absolutely love. I love purple. Purple's my favourite colour. So loving this one. It's not too dark to stitch on. And just love it with that. That's dress, which is Classic Colourworks Nighty Night. Just think it looks fabulous. Looks really lovely. So really, really pleased with that one. Yeah, lots of you are joining in and stitching this with us. I gave a big long list last time, but I think it's not far. I think I wrote you all down in my little book as well. Yeah, so Stitchy Rach, Mama Loves You GB, Terry at Button Up I Am Stitching, Sue Radford, Alice, who's the honeybee stitcher, who's finished it and it looks wonderful, Alice. Natalie at Sew Stitch Sew Nat, Sarah obviously, Emma, my lovely friend Emma at Emma S Stitches, Marianne Johnson 2020 is stitching it, my lovely friend Ruth, who's Country Gal 854, Amy at Cross Stitch Amy, Kirsty at Kirsty Diamond Stitcher, Terry, who is Terry Askam on Instagram, and Keely at Cakes and Stitches are all stitching it. And if there is anyone else that I've forgotten on that list, I'm so terribly sorry. Please do let me know. Please do let me know that you're stitching along with us. So those are my whips. So I think you can see, despite life, I have been quite busy and managed to stitch. Did I have a day? I'm just trying to think, did I have a non-stitchy day? I don't think I did. I think I managed to stitch every day, although there have been odd days where I didn't actually stitch very much, just for one reason or another, just with busyness, with things going on, So, plans. So the middle of the month, which I'm just a little bit late, but you know, I'm still getting there. Sarah and I will normally talk to you about what we're stitching the next month. So middle of July, or just gone, I'm going to talk to you about what I'm stitching in August. I have got 4 new starts planned for August at the moment, but you never know, that might change, because I'm actually changing my July stitching by adding an extra one in. So for July, I have decided to do a stitch along with a lovely friend of mine who's called Lisa. Now, many of you will have been thrilled to see Lisa's return to Flosstube last week. This is Lisa from Lost in Stitches Lisa, and many of you know that Lisa has had a tough 2024 with having an illness, and she'd really not spent, I think January was the last time we'd seen her on Flosstube, and she'd taken a break from Instagram as well, which was well needed. And you know, we've all been thinking about Lisa, those of us who've watched her, those of us who know her, you know, virtually know her. I've never met Lisa, but I hope to one day. But she, you know, she's become a friend. We used to message each other, and you know, have met on Stitch Across the Pond Zooms. So you know, I do consider Lisa a friend. So it was wonderful to watch Lisa's return last week to Flosstube and see what her plans are. So when Sarah and I first announced that we were going to do 50 new starts, Lisa messaged and said, well, I'm not 50 this year, I'm 50 in 2 years, but hell, I'm going to do it, why not? And so Lisa decided to join in. Now Lisa hasn't given up that dream of starting those 50. She's had a few months of not being able to stitch and not feeling well enough, but she's back to it. So she showed us all her projects and talked about all of the ones that she's looking to start in the next couple of months. And one of the first ones that she showed was Feast of Friendship by Blackbird Designs, which I've got in my stash because I was kindly, I did a bit of a swap with Lynn, who had asked if she could have one of my charts, and in return she'd send me one of hers that she'd finished with. So we did a little bit of a swap, and she sent me Feast of Friendship. So I saw this. Lisa said she wanted to start this quite soon, so I messaged her and said, look, I want to start it with you, and let's do a little bit of a celebration of you coming back to Flosstube. And so we are stitching this with the hashtag, I haven't written it down. The hashtag, I think it's Feast of Friendship for Lisa. I'm going to put it here. It's the one thing I haven't written down. It's not on my notes in front of me. It's not on my little notes here that I thought I'd... So it's to celebrate. Come along and stitch this with us if you've got it, or even if you started stitching it and you need a little bit of encouragement to get back on it. We're stitching this to just celebrate. You know, I know Lisa talked about how much support she'd felt she'd had from the community, people that had messaged her, just checking in with her, checking she was okay, and you know, the love and support she felt she'd had from all of her stitchy friends. So I thought just a celebration of that, the feast of friendship that has come around Lisa in the love and care that everybody has been sending to her. So I thought that was a really fitting tribute, and Lisa loved the idea. So we are going to start that on the 29th of July. So really hope, you know, if you've got it. I know my friend Alex, I mentioned it to her a couple of days ago, and she said, I think I've got it. I think she's waiting for a few of the threads, and she's going to join in with us as well. That's at Salex Stitches. So anyone else that would like to join with us and just celebrate the friendship we have in this community and the love that we can send to our friends when they're in need or when they just need a bit of a boost, let's celebrate that and celebrate our friends. So that is an impromptu start for July. Then talking about friends, so my next start, so this will be start number 36, and this is going to be a start on the 1st of August. And this is from Pinebury Lane. It is Fancy Blacket and it's Shoe. Just thought, just final thing on Feast of Friendship. I'd forgotten prompts. So all of you lovely people out there, when Sarah and I first decided to do the Fun for 50 Sal 2024, you all gave us prompts to work our charts around. The prompt for this one was given by Bridget Gebhard, and Bridget said stitch something by Blackbird Designs. So there we go, that's my prompt from Bridget. So back to Pinebury Lane. So I was watching one of my friends who I met at Stitch in London last year, Kirsty, and who is Crafty Kirsty, and Kirsty at Stitch in London last year, I think there were quite a few people who were stitching Fancy Blacket charts. I was like, oh, these are nice, I like these. And the Stitchy Rach was sitting next to Kirsty as well, and they were telling me, well, we do a Fancy Blacket chart every year with our friend Elaine, who is Ellie Welly Stitcher, and yeah, you know, it's great fun. I was like, oh, that sounds lovely. And I hadn't met Elaine at that point, and then in December, following Stitch in London, Elaine and I met because she'd by that point moved up from Essex up to North Wales, and Elaine and I have become firm friends. I'll talk about a little bit about Elaine later. So then Kirsty was talking about her. So they do a Fancy Blacket chart every year. So I think this is the fourth year of this year. And this year it was Kirsty's turn to choose which they were going to do. So Kirsty was showing on her Flosstube, she was showing that they were doing Fancy Blacket Shoe. And I thought, well, I'd like to join in with that, and it's starting on the 1st of August. So I have the chart, and this is because my lovely friend Alex, who is Salex Stitches, I did a little favour for her, and as a little thank you, she said, I'd like to send you a chart, what would you like? And I said, oh, actually, I'd like to join in on a stitch along, and I haven't got the chart yet, and so she kindly sent it for me. So that's Fancy Blacket Shoe. And the prompt for this came from Lizzie, who is at Mrs. Fisher Stitches, and I'm really looking forward to meeting Lizzie next week. I saw her at Stitch in London, but we didn't actually chat last year, so hopefully we'll get a chance to meet next week because we're both at Big Stitch. So the prompt from Lizzie was stitch something that you associate with a few of your favourite people. So, you know, my stitchy friends are some of my favourite people. So Elaine, Kirsty and Rach, this is all stitching it with you. Some of my favourite people. And there are some other stitchers as well who I think Alison, who is stitching Whippet. It's a lady from America or Canada who's joining in. So it's going to be a nice group, and they've added me to their Fancy Blacket chat. So I'm going to be able to share my progress with my favourite people friends and some new friends as well, which is really lovely. So, and thank you, Alex. Really pleased with that. So that is the 1st of August that one will be started. And then the 9th of August, there's another kind of almost Halloweenish type one, and I'm going to start Steampunk Penelope, and this is by Annie, who is the proper stitcher. So this is being started on the 9th because it is the birthday of my friend Ruth, who is at Country Gal 854, and there are a number of us who have a Zoomy chat with Ruth at the moment we've been doing a weekly Zoom chat, which has been really, really lovely. So Alex, Caroline, Fanny and Marion, we've also been joined at times by Alison from Cross Stitch the Globe, and also Erin has joined us from the Hathaway Stitches, so that's been really lovely. But we are going to stitch for Ruth's birthday. We are doing #birthday for Ruth Sal. So we're all stitching something that has a bird in it, and mine is, well, I'm going to call her Penny for now, Steampunk Penny. This will be my penny bird, and really looking forward to starting her. Got some of the fancy floss already in there, and I'm hoping I've ordered to pick up at the Big Stitch some Grandpa's slipper from XG Designs. So I'm really thinking that might look, I'm hoping that will look really good on that. So looking forward to picking that up. So that's the 9th of August. So if you would like to come and stitch a bird with us to celebrate Ruth's birthday, because I know there's many people out there who will know Ruth from Instagram, because she's really good at commenting on Flosstubes and on Instagram posts. So if you'd like to wish her a happy birthday and start a bird with us, that's the 9th of August. Start number 38. This is one that Sarah and I are doing, and this is Autumn Bee, and by The Blue Flower, and Sarah and I will be stitching this one together. The prompt for this came from Jane Copeland, and I know Jane watches and comments on my Flosstube, so thank you, Jane. And the prompt for this was stitch your newest chart. Well, at the moment this is my newest chart. We're starting this one on I think on the 22nd of August. It won't be my newest chart by then, but it's my newest chart now, because I know I have ordered something that's due to come in the next couple of days, and then I have ordered another chart, an exclusive chart for Big Stitch, which I'll be picking up at Big Stitch. So it won't be my newest chart by then, but at the moment it is. So I think I can get away with that prompt that I'm telling you at the moment. So that will be on the 22nd of August that Sarah and I are going to start that one. And then my final start for August is Cinnamon Stars. I am so excited to be starting Cinnamon Stars. I've had this one. I bought this chart off eBay for practically the price you could buy it new. But ho hum, I really wanted it, so there we go. And this is going to be started on the 26th of August, which is the birthday of my lovely friend Caroline, who is Caroline Stitch Corner on Flosstube and on Instagram. And again, stitchy friends, we are going to stitch, most of us are going to stitch this for Caroline's birthday. So really excited about that. And I have just, again, I'm hoping that there'll be enough of the Grandpa's slipper that this can go on it, as well as Steampunk Penelope and eventually Steampunk Percy, because I have the two charts there. And I've just ordered from Rachel at Talking Dog Stitcher, I've just ordered quite a few of the Gentle Arts threads that I was missing for this, so that I can do as much of it as I can in the called for fancy floss. So really looking forward to that one, and this is going to be on the 26th of August for Caroline. And actually I am going to tell you about a plan that has come up for September, because it's a September the 1st one. So you won't hear about this until the middle of August, but I just wanted to tell you, because there's a few of us that are going to be starting this. And so it's Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs, and I bought this from Rachel at Talking Dog Stitcher, and I noticed Lauren, who is from Flossabilities, had also bought it, so we had a little bit of a message back and forth of, oh, we could start it as a stitch along. So we have decided to start it as a stitch along. We haven't yet got a hashtag, but again, Lauren and I are going to catch up at the Big Stitch next weekend and come up with a hashtag for this. And I believe that Rachel at Talking Dog Stitcher is going to join in with us as well. I think my friend Elaine at Ellie Welly Stitcher is going to join in too. And then I know that Sherry from Just So Sherry has this. So Rachel was going to message Sherry as well and see if Sherry wanted to join us. So I think you will see this in quite a few Flosstubers plans for the 1st of September in the next couple of weeks, and then stitching it as well in September. So just wanted to show you that one and tell you that one for the 1st of September, if anyone has it or wanted to get it, to come and join in with us on that one. So lots of plans, really exciting. Yeah, gonna get that whip count up even more. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit scary. But yeah, 2020 is, yeah. It's fine. I always do a Stitch by Mum little section, as you know, and this time, because so many of you are doing Christmas in July, and actually I haven't done anything Christmassy yet, I did think I would work on my one of my new starts from January, which was Santa and the Wallmakers by Hello from Liz Matthews and Kathy Barrick, but I haven't yet pulled it out. I think just because, you know, I'm looking out the window at the grey clouds. We have had a couple of really nice days. Really, yesterday was really hot and Friday was scorchio. But yesterday we did about maybe 4 o'clock. It started to rain, and we had really heavy rain, which actually was really lovely and cooling last night. And it did mean that we didn't have to go and water the garden or the allotment, which was really beneficial. But yeah, I haven't really felt like stitching anything Christmassy yet. I think I'm still kind of hoping that if I stitch on summer, we will get some slightly better weather, and it seems to have worked. But I did think, for those of you that are doing Christmas in July, I would show you this fella. Now can I get far enough back to show him in his full glory? So this is a Stitch by Mum, and it's Father Christmas, and as you can see, he's got his jingly bells. So Mum stitched this for me, and because it's not Christmas, I've obviously not got it hung up, so it's just a little bit creased, but as you can see, she's done it as a wall hanging. And he's beautiful. He's on quite a big count of fabric, but it's all speciality stitches. Look at his fabulous beard. Oh, I think that must be done in kind of whisper or something like that, because it's can you see it's sparkly? Can you see the sparkles? And then just look at these. Look at those fantastic stitches, how neat they are. She's a clever lady, my mum. So I've had this for quite a while, so I don't know when she did it. I don't know who charted it, but just love it. So we have this up every Christmas on our wall. Yeah, isn't he fabulous? Love him. So that's a Stitch by Mum for you this week to think about, for those of you who are doing Christmas in July. What else have I got? I've told you about my Stitchy Kindness from Alex. Last weekend though, I had a fabulous day. So Elaine, Ellie Welly Stitcher, invited me and Simon over to Anglesey to see her new home and to meet Barry, her husband, and the new doggy and the new bear puppy, who's gorgeous. Not a dog fan, but he's a really cute puppy. Really fluffy and cuddly. And we had a barbecue. The weather held. At one point there were a few spots of rain, but we It was fine. So it was absolutely so lovely to see Elaine's new home, to look at all the stitching that she's got on the wall. That was fabulous. Yeah, to see things in real life that, Elaine stitches full coverage. So I think it was one of her Chris Dunn's that she'd finished and was framed on the wall, and it's like, oh wow, it was a lot smaller than I was expecting it to be. A lot smaller. Couldn't quite. It's like, goodness, it just wasn't what I was expecting it to be. So really lovely to see stuff on the wall that Elaine has finished. Lovely to see her stitchy room, and lovely to meet Barry and the chickens. So I got to meet all the chickens and see Howard the rooster was behaving. I think somebody messaged and said I'd put a little picture. I'd put this picture actually. Elaine had taken a picture of me and said, oh, put it on Instagram and put it on your stories and see if anyone can guess where you are. And a couple of people did. And a couple of people, I think, was it Libby? Had said, is Howard behaving? And Howard did behave. Howard was behaving. Howard wasn't too noisy at all. But yeah, so it was lovely. It was so lovely to spend time with Elaine and Barry. And Elaine and I went off into her sewing room for quite a while, and Simon and Barry just got left sat outside chatting, and they got on so well, which was really lovely. So did have a little bit of stitchy kindness from Elaine. So I started stitching just after, I think, or I started certainly watching Flosstube and Michelle at Mama Loves You GB, kind of just after the whole kind of big floss drop swap had happened. And so I didn't take part. And Elaine, I was like, gosh, you've got lots of floss drops, and she said, oh, it's from when we did that exchange, should all have some of mine. So I've got some of Elaine's, or even some of them I've already put holes in, ready to get going. So she gave me some of those, and then she went, if you'd like to have a look through, I've got a big pile there that I've already kitted up, but these are my other charts. If you just want to have a look through, if there's anything you'd like to borrow, that's fine. I was like, okay. So this is one. Oh, really want to get this one started. I might swap it in for this year. We'll see. If not, it'll be straight starting for January 2025. So Scarlet House, this is my happy place. Love that. And Elaine is going to stitch it at some point too. And then I loved the witch on this one. Now this is Primitive Hair, and it's Halloween Makers, and it's one that actually Elaine had been gifted by her lovely friend Susie. Hi Susie, who I met at the Wrexham retreat. It was the Wrexham retreat, wasn't it? I was trying to think, there was Wrexham or Châtelet at the Wrexham retreat. It was the first time that Susie had come up to Wrexham, and because she's normally kind of Essex, she's down south, so an Essex Needles attendee, but this is one that Susie had gifted to Elaine, so I'm borrowing it. But I loved that witch. I just loved her face. I'm not sure if I'll stitch this bottom bit. Can't decide whether I'll just stitch the Halloween Makers and the witch and the pumpkin lady. But loved that. So I've borrowed that one off Elaine to stitch as well. Big Stitch. So Big Stitch is next weekend. Really excited about that. Yeah, just can't wait. So I won't film. My kind of next one will probably be a week on Friday, which will be the weekend after, the Friday after the Big Stitch. So I'll be able to tell you all about it then, but no doubt there will be photographs and stories on Instagram from lots of people, more than just me. So hopefully you will all enjoy seeing those. But I think, I'm hoping it's going to be a real success for the organisers, because, there's so much going on. Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery is going to be there, and he's got some talks throughout the weekend that he's doing to kind of everybody. Some other designers there who are doing classes. I'm not doing any of the classes, but I can't wait. For Jacob's talks. Really excited about that. Lots of my friends who are going, lots of people who I now consider friends, who I've met through chatting on Instagram and chatting on, via their Flosstube channels. So lots of people I'm really looking forward to meeting as well. So just can't wait. And talking about Flosstube, I have been watching, managed to watch a little bit last night when it was raining. I was like, right, it's raining, we can't stitch. So I caught up with Fanny and Marion, my lovely French friends who just make me giggle. They're just the nicest girls, and they are the Soul Stitchers. So they released a video yesterday. Cross Stitch the Globe, Stephanie and Alison, they gave me a shout out on their last Flosstube. In fact, they wished me a happy birthday, and I messaged and went, you might be a bit confused, it's not my birthday at the moment, it's in September. Will you wish me happy birthday again then? But I am celebrating the whole of 2024 because it's the big 5-0. I'm celebrating for the whole year. And Alison replied back and went, of course you can have 2 birthdays. I was like, great, eat more cake. So that's, yeah, I'm absolutely fine to have 2 birthdays and eat lots of cake. And it was really great to see Crafty Stitches back this week. So Heather and Steve, it was lovely to see you. And you know, it's been a tough year for Heather, I think, and great to see her back and smiling. And hopefully the next time you speak to us, Heather, you feel a bit better, because you did have a bit of a, can you remember 4 weeks ago I was a really bit snuffly. Heather was a bit like that on her Flosstube, but it was just so nice to see them both, and so nice to see that they're stitching still and coming back to us. Caroline, my lovely friend Caroline at Caroline Stitch Corner, just released a new video as well, where she goes through her whips and talks about whether they're whips or pips. So if you want to go and find out what a pip is, go and have a watch of Caroline. So that was really great. And I watched Just So Sherry last night as well. Sherry has gone weekly, which is fantastic. Everybody needs a bit of a Sherry boost once a week just to make you giggle. And yeah, Sherry's just fabulous. I think we all love Sherry, and we all love Sherry's Just So Sherry moments. Yeah, make me giggle, which is wonderful. And I did have some lovely shout outs. So a shout out from, I think Jen shouted me out at Jen's Fiberweb, Keely at Cakes and Stitches. Sorry, I'm just got a tickle. I've been talking too much. I've been going 50 minutes. Keely at Cakes and Stitches, Jacinta on Crafting on the Plains, and of course Stitchy Sally. Yes, so Light, Barbarana Wednesdays. Don't forget, I did this week. I didn't stitch on Light on Wednesday, I stitched on Light on a different day. And actually Sally commented this week that she just had a haircut and it was too short. I've just had mine cut and it's too short, and I've been trying not to fiddle with it too much. But I've had a new hairdresser, and it was definitely the hairdresser's fault. I told her exactly how long I wanted it. And I know she cuts too short, so I told her I wanted it longer than I did. But she still cut it too short, and my hair, because it's curly, if you cut it too short, it really bounces up and it makes me look like a bit of a spaniel, or like I've got spaniel ears. So it's, yeah, as you can see today, because it's so short, it is very curly. And yeah, but anyway, it'll grow, and then it'll be perfect. It'll be perfect in about a week. It'll be just that little bit longer. So yeah, so it was lovely to see Sally. And Sally, your hair looks fabulous, actually. You can't, you know, it doesn't look too short at all. It looked perfect. Yeah, so there's just one last thing I wanted to mention. I briefly showed my spool on my Flosstube, where I did my progress on my 50 new starts for 2024. And I had shown this on my previous Flosstube, but I did get a couple of messages just to say, oh, you know, that spool you showed really briefly, where did you get it from? So I just thought I'd show it you again. And this is from Cheryl, made this. She is a wood turner, and it's fantastic, I can see. And she will make these to size for you. So if you have something specific you want to put on a spool, if you let her know, she'll make it to size. And you can get hold of Cheryl on her Instagram, which is at Stitching Woodcrafts. So yeah, there we go, because I know a couple of people messaged me and asked, and I thought there's possibly other people. So Cheryl is UK based. I'm not sure if she'll send abroad. That's a conversation you'd have to have with Cheryl, but certainly in the UK. And I know she's attending some UK retreats later in the year, so it's worth messaging her to find out which ones she is going to. So I think that ties me up for today. I think, yeah, my sewing room's a little bit tidier. It's definitely a little bit tidier. I have got visitors at the weekend as part of the big stitch. There will be a couple of stitchers coming and staying at various points either side of the either side of the weekend. So I've had to do a little bit of a tidy up, and yeah, it's looking a lot better. Not quite ready for a tour yet, but maybe at some point. Maybe at some point I'll be adventurous and show you what it looks like. But yeah, it's looking a lot better. I'm not tripping over things as I'm walking in or out now, which is great. So yeah, lovely to speak to you all. I really hope you have a good couple of weeks. If you're at the Big Stitch, please do come and say hello. I know already a couple of people have messaged me and said, I'm going to be at the Big Stitch. Is it okay if I come and say hi? Absolutely, absolutely. Love to meet people. Just tell me who you are, and if you're on Instagram, tell me your Instagram name as well. But yeah, just really excited about the Big Stitch. Can't wait to meet people. It's just going to be fantastic. I don't think I'm going to get much stitching done at all. I think there'll be a lot of chatting, and probably quite a bit of shopping as well. But that's all part and parcel of a retreat, isn't it? So really looking forward to it. I shall see you in 2 weeks when no doubt there'll be haul. There'll be lots to tell you about the Big Stitch, and yeah, it'll be, yeah. Anyway, happy stitching everybody, and see you soon. Take care. Bye.